it is time for my hand in the frame. Nah, I'm kidding, guys. What's up? Slifer Duelist back at it again for another card of the week. This week, I said last week we were talking about a trap. So this week, talking about Ring of Destruction. Big guy, you know, very powerful, very, very good trap. So the main topic of the episode is going to be how erratas can make cards terrible. And why just errataing everything is a terrible, terrible thing that Konami should stop doing. I'm going to try my best to do that. But, you know, I usually just ramble about whatever I like on these videos. That's why 3 people watch them every week. So, we'll get right into it. So, Ring of Destruction is a normal trap, and its effect currently reads, during your opponent's turn, target one face-up monster your opponent controls whose attack is less than or equal to their life points. Destroy that face-up monster, and if you do, take damage equal to its original attack, then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the damage you took. You can only activate one Ring of Destruction per turn. So, the card is currently unlimited in the TCG. I believe it's semi-limited in the OCG. And we're going to look up its pre-errata version. And we'll see, you know, how it has changed. So here's the version with PSCT from Battle Pack Epic Dawn. It says target one face-up monster on the field, destroy that target, and if you do, inflict damage to both players equal to that target's attack. So as you know, seeing the difference between them, it goes from targeting anything at any time and inflicting damage at the same time, to only targeting your opponent's card during their turn, and you take the damage first. And you can only use one per turn. Not that that matters. But we'll go over ban list history real quick. So, it was released in July 2013, and it was quickly limited in August 2013. 2003. See, I'm thinking of, you know, I'm thinking ahead. It was then forbidden in October 2005. And it was brought back to 1 in September 2006. Re-banned in September 2007. Re-limited in April 2015 with its errata. It stayed limited until May 2018, where it was semi-limited at that point. And then on the most recent list in September, it was unlimited. So for the first time in 15 years, Ring of Destruction is at 3. And it, you know, even with the errata, that's still a very scary thought. Because this card is still really good, even with its very bad errata. I mean, nothing can be as bad as Chaos Emperor Dragon's errata. Like, they made that boy just so sad. It's just so unworthy of it, you know. But well, let's get the Ring of Destruction facts over before we get into the main topic. So let's see. All the packs has been printed in. It was first printed in Verona Guardian as a secret rare, Retro Pack 2 as a secret rare, Duelist Pack Kaiba as an ultimate, Battle Pack Epic Dawn as a rare and a star foil, Invasion of Chaos Special Edition as an ultra rare, Champion Pack 2 as a rare, Premium Gold Return of the Bling as a gold rare, Structured X Seto Kaiba as a common, Legendary Collection Kaiba as an ultra, Millennium Pack as a common, and Star Deck Link Strike as a common. How far we have come that Ring of Destruction is now in a starter deck. Let's think about that for a moment. This card that has been limited and forbidden so many times is now in a starter deck. This card that was a power, one of those power one-ofs that could just win you games instantly, is in a starter deck. And that's how like the erratas can change the game. Like, there's ones like this which don't change the overall power, I would say, because you can definitely still do what you need to do with this card, but make it less, you know, broken to pull off. It gives it more restriction. But then you get the ones that are like Chaos Emperor Dragon, who I will stand by, even though it does fix the problem that Chaos Emperor Dragon had, it makes him unusable. Because literally it prevents you from doing anything else that whole turn. So even if you do something like Search It with Melody, you have to wait a whole turn. And, you know, you're playing against Danger FDK, it's like, oh, well, I lose. You have to set up and then wait a full turn to do him. And then he can just get, like, Effect Veilered. Or, like, Ash Blossomed or Ghost Belled or some hand trap stops him, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure some hand trap stopped him. I'm not going to read them all. But the moral of the story is that just errating every card is unhealthy, I think. Because if every problem could just be solved with, oh, let's just change history, just change what it does. And it changes how the game is played. I kind of don't know what I'm talking about here. Well, I know a lot of people would agree with me that they shouldn't just errata every card. Because there are times, like coming up in the future, where old, broken cards could just come back no problem with their effects. Like Time Seal. Time Seal is a perfect example. That card could come back at any point. Because who's gonna fucking run Time Seal? Except for meme players. And that could come back at any point without an errata, but if it ever does come back, you know it's going to get an errata. It'll become like a once per duel thing, or they'll put some insane restriction on it, and just make it completely unusable even in meme trash. Where if they just brought it back, you know, people would be like, hey, that's cool, Time Seal's back. Just leave it at 1 if you really think it's gonna be a problem. Like, Magician of Faith is a big example of this. When Magician of Faith first came back, I remember people distinctly saying that this is going to ruin Yu-Gi-Oh! And then look what happened. Maybe like 3 or 4 spellbook lists. Got a couple tops, not even first place with Magician of Faith. And now she's at 3. I haven't seen the card played anywhere. It's in every starter deck. Speaking of starter decks, can we get new cards in starter decks? I know what they're for, but this year's starter deck and last year's starter deck are like the exact same with like 3 different cards. So that's kind of lazy. More news on erratas. More talking about erratas. Sangan. Poor Sangan. Sangan and Witch. They both had their shit changed so you can't use that card during that turn. Does it affect them much? No, not really. Not really at all. Sangan can still search just, you know, regular ass hand traps, and you can just keep them until your opponent's turn. Shout out to Cherubini ever coming out in the CCG. I'm waiting for you, dog. I want to search my Ash Blossoms. You know, which makes more sense because it can search stuff like Jinzo and Dad, but you know, it's like there's got to be a point where you draw the line of what you can errata and what you can't errata. Because at this point, they're just looking at every banned card and they're like, well, we need to kick some of this shit off the list. What do we do? I'll just errata it and just throw it back out into the wild. It's like, alright. They did it with Grand Soil, and Grand Soil should have never had to have been errata. He should have just had that effect from the start. So it's completely utter pointless. Like, they literally banned it for, like, what was it? A format and a half? Just so they could print it with the errata. Why not just make the errata known then and then print it later? They did that with Pendulum Sorcerer. With Performa Pal Pendulum Sorcerer. They gave him his errata and they were like, hey guys, his effect's wrong. And they were like, okay. And then they reprinted it later in the Megaton. They should just do that instead of what they did with like Grand Soil. And like stuff like that makes sense where, you know, it's part of the effects that's not supposed to be like that. Where, you know, for some reason Grand Soil is the only elemental lord that's not once per turn, or Pendulum Sorcerer can add up to or pop anything or something like that. You know, whatever his deal was. I think they made it so that way he has to add the exact amount that you pop. And I guess that made him bad. It really doesn't. Just search Lizard Draw Guitardle, dog. It's honestly. Bring back Monkey Board, by the way. When's that man coming back? Seriously. We need full power Pepe again. Make Pepe great again. Please. I want to play Pepe in 2018. That would be hilarious. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this episode. I'm going on. I got a little bit of the stuff going through my brain, you know. It is a Friday night after all. So be sure to like, subscribe, Fred Does Forever, and we'll be seeing you next week. It's all a surprise.